the things left undone. The elders, ordained elders, that was left undone. The churches in the island of Crete, this is what this is, an island that he's sent to. And there's congregations on this island. And there were things that were still lacking. And one of that was Christian leadership. They needed that. They needed to have Christian leadership. And he's going to tell us some of the things that's going to take place, why they needed Christian leadership in this. Not only that, but they also were lacking in the Christian living. There were some things that needed to be taught that they were lacking in. And so they still needed to be taught how to live the Christian life. So these were the things that were still lacking. And that's right. That's right. That's right. There were some things that still needed attention. Now, our lesson for us out of this, are there things in our life that we need to set in order that are lacking? You know, as the congregation as a whole, are we still lacking in areas? And if it is, in our own lives, we need to set these things in order. We need to work on it. That's what Titus was sent there for. Get to work. Get after these people. Let them know there's still some things they needed to do. And so that's our self-examination there. What do we need to set in order? What are we lacking? And let's get on with it. Any other thought on that? And this is where Titus, a young man, given this responsibility, I think about that. You know, an older Christian, mature, you know, been in the faith for a long time, you know, that would be a kind of a strong task, a difficult task. But think of a young man, Titus, goes in there and tells these people, you know, and by the authority that I've been given by Paul, here's what we need to do. Here's what you need to do. And so he's tough. It's a tough situation he was put in. Number 5, list the 3 positive qualifications for bishops found in verse 6.
Blameless, husband of one wife, having faithful children.
Okay. The positive, these are the things that the elders should have. Those that are qualified, they should be blameless, meaning they have to be perfect, right? No perfect. There is no perfect person, is there? You know, blameless doesn't mean perfect or without sin. Just means a good reputation. Nothing to hide. You know, above reproach. You know, one that's qualified should not have anything hidden. It's out there. Is blameless. No skeletons in the closet. Very good. Exactly right. Because God knows the skeletons, doesn't he? But this is a good reputation that this man should have. A husband of one wife, of one woman, man. This is describing a godly family man, is what this is. And the children, the well-trained believers, not accused of riot, out of control, unruly, rebellious, these type of things here. They submit to authority. And to me, when he's talked about these things, he's dealing with those in the household. You know, Paul is, to me, referring to those in the childhood, in the household. You know, how is the family toward this man, the father, the dad, the husband in that family? How did the family relate to him as a man, as a father figure, so on like that? And we talked a lot about this when we studied 1 Timothy chapter 3, the qualifications of elders. And, you know, questions that sometimes asked about the adult children. You know, as family, the elder's family is no different from any other family. You have your ups and downs, you have your problems, you have things where everything's fine, and you have things where everything's not. You're not left out of problems of the world, especially when it comes to your children, and especially as they get older. And it's just one of the things of life. They make their own choices. Now, I think when it comes to the church, if the family situations in that elder's family, if it somehow causes problems in the church, then maybe something has to be looked at. It's up to the congregation will they accept that man as an elder with the situations that he has with his family. So, any thoughts? I know we talked a little bit about this in 1 Timothy. Okay. We'll continue on.
I think it's important that you talk about children being trained. You had the opportunity to train. Did you train?
Yeah.
Educate.
That's right. You know, God had his first children. What did they do? Did they not rebel? They were disobedient. Does that make God a bad person, a bad God? Because his children fell away, sinned. They were told, do not eat this. Satan says, you can eat this. They fell for Satan's lie, and they became disobedient. So was it God's fault? I've got a commentary that it's some from the Truth for Today, and if you don't mind, I don't mind. I like to read a little something that comes from John R.W. Stott in his comment. When he's asked the question sometimes, what about the children's behavior after they leave home? So let me just read what he writes here. And I think it's well worth reading. It is legitimate to ask for how long the faith and conduct of children remain their parents' responsibility. The text suggests that Paul has childhood in mind. For although children could be used of posterity in general and occasionally of grown adults, it usually refers to youngsters who are still in their minority, which of course varies in different cultures, and are therefore regarded as being still under their parents' authority. Regarding the requirement that an elder's children must not be guilty of dissipation, or rebellion, the question the congregation needs to pose is this: does a man have family problems that would affect his influence in the church and in the community? And I thought that was a very good reading that he put out there. You know, how long should the be responsible of the parent over the child? 60-year-old man, am I still going to listen to an 80-year-old dad? Yeah, you're doing wrong. Now, we can encourage. We can't tell them what to do. They're in my household, it's different. Young kids, we know what to do. My dad, we've heard this too. I put you into this world. Y'all heard it too. So, I think that's kind of a thing we all have to kind of look at. Okay, very good. Any other questions, thoughts? Okay, let's look at the negatives. Number 6, list the 5 negative qualifications found in verse 7.
Not self-willed, not quick-tempered, not given to wine, not violent, not greedy for money.
Okay, so these are the qualifications of a godly Christian. And first we had a godly family man, now this is the life of a Christian, and this is all things we got to work on. But these are some of the qualifications of the elder. Not self-willed. What happens when you have someone that's self-willed? What are they doing? My way or the highway? Not giving in. If you don't listen to me, we have a recording of that in the Bible. It's Diotrephes. where it says he loved to have the preeminence. So he would keep Paul and some of his workers from coming in because he wanted to be number one. And so this is taken from 3 John verse 9. This man. Arrogance, that's right. You're self-willed, it's all about me. Pleasing our own will, inconsiderate of others. I don't want to hear what you have to say. Well, sure we do. But can you imagine what that would be like having an elder like that? No. I don't know what you guys think, but this is what it's going to be. Or if we've got 2 elders, I don't care what you think. This is the way it's going to be. That's right. And that's someone that's self-willed. You don't want anyone in there like that. Not soon angry, quick-tempered. Can't imagine what that would be like. Slow to anger, what that person needs to be. You're going to be dealing with people. And sometimes people will get under your skin. And so, that's what happens when you serve. And so if you're quick-tempered, it's nothing good will come out of that. Nothing but bad. Not given to wine. And this deals with avoiding things that will affect your ability to reason. And alcohol would definitely do that. Name other things that you can get influenced on, addicted to. But anything like that, you would be hard to make right decisions when you're given to these things. No striker. What's pretty self-explanatory, isn't it? What is a striker? Come on. If you have someone self-willed, you have it my way, come on. They go together. That's right. All these things really do. When you give into alcohol, you've seen people like that, haven't you? They want to fight. They become king of the hill. So if you have one that's a striker, ready to fight, and not only physically but also verbally, just lash out at you. Not given to filthy lucre. Now what is that? Money. Greedy. And to the point of having dishonest gain. And you really don't want anybody to be in the role of an elder that money's involved when it comes to the church finances. So if you have someone that's given to filthy lucre, greedy, then you may have a problem. Yeah. That's right. Exactly right. So this is just, you want someone that rules himself well in order to rule the church, have authority with the church. So all these things kind of apply here. These 5 negative qualifications are needed. Okay? Any other thought on this? Number 7, list the 7 additional qualifications from verse 8 and 9.
Hospitable, lovers of what is good, sober-minded, just, wholly self-controlled, holding the faith, alert.
Okay. Well, these are the 7 additional ones. Lover of hospitality. To me, that just means being a loving, friendly person, not only to the believers, but also to non-believers. What a great way to influence other people, even outside the church, is being hospitable. That means your door is open at your home for anyone. Come over. Come on in. Got a question? If you're hospitable, you allow that person to come in. If you're not, the door's locked, shut. But so, lover of hospitality, lover of good men, just being a good influence over the things that are good. Anything that's good, that's what this person should be about. Sober, being sensible, having good sense. reasoning, and then just. That's by all means, you want that as a qualification of elders. Being just, being fair, not just to the friends, but to everyone. Then holy, that's just being pleasing to God, devout, and temperate, again, part of that self-control, discipline. Then holding fast the faithful word as he's been taught, being devoted, committed to the word. Study. Know what the word says. Being committed to that. Anything that arises in the church, we go straight to the Bible. What does God say about this? Okay, any thoughts on this? Okay, very good. Number 8, what should be used to exhort and convict those who contradict?
Holding fast the faithful word which he has been taught.
Okay? Then the word, isn't it? That's what we use, holding fast the word. What does it mean to exhort? Courage. That's right. You're encouraging the brethren, the believers. Comforting, encouraging, strengthening. That's how we exhort. We do this by word, a sound doctrine. Those that are trying to do right, we exhort them to continue on, hold fast. And then, what does it mean to convict those? Convince them. And that means you have to maybe rebuke them a little bit. Refute them, especially those that are contradicting. Contradicting means they're going against the sound doctrine. They're speaking against. These are false teachers. They need to be stopped. They need to be silenced. And so it's a strong disapproval when you convict those. And all that amounts to is we are trying to our best to restore those that are in error. That's what convicting means. We encourage, we convict those. And then he goes on in verses 10 and 11 and talk about who the gainsayers are, those that are unruly, vain talkers, deceivers. So especially those of the circumcision, the Jewish people were giving them a lot of trouble. He says whose mouths must be stopped. They need to be muzzled. You can't let people like that keep teaching in the church. You've got a problem. You're going to have something that's not the church. Okay? In your Bible now. Yeah. Same thing. I think it's the same thing. When you convince, yeah, I think so. When you convince someone, that's kind of what you're doing. You're refuting them, in a way, convicting them. And mainly what you're saying is you're telling them that you can't teach these things. And when you convince them that, what we're trying to do is restore their soul. You've got to stop. And in verse 11, if their mouths are not stopped, what is it going to do? Subvert whole houses. It can cause problems in the church. In the first century, the church a lot of times met in homes, in houses. And this was so bad that it was causing division and friction throughout the whole church, the house. But I think both words mean the same. He's talking about refuting. Again, just a strong disapproval of what was being done. All right, number 9. Why did some subvert households and teach things they should not?
For the sake of dishonest gain.
Okay. That's it. Money. They were upsetting whole families, and probably means they were preaching for money. It was all about money. Do people preach for money today? We see them on TV all the time. That's what it's all about. I like this one guy, he's a preacher on TV, and his last name is Dollar. Before long, he's asking you to send him your dollars. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Blessed Spring Water. It's probably just something like from the Spring River. Oh, you can make money in the name of the Lord. Yes, it will. It will. They have to stand before, and a lot of these people know that they're wrong. You know, they know the Lord hadn't spoke to them. This is just, that's not the Lord speaking. That's right. Okay, very good. I didn't do like Phil. I don't finish one chapter at a time. I like to talk about these things. Have you noticed? All right, circle number 10. And we ended with Mary Beth, so whoever's after Mary Beth. So. And again, welcome back.